On a rainy Tuesday in Chicago, Marcus Johnson, an Uber driver for 3 years, never imagined it would be the ride that would change his perspective on humanity. It was just another call on his app, picking up a passenger at O'Hare Airport and taking her downtown. A $25 ride he made at least twice a week. Marcus had started driving for Uber after losing his job at the factory where he had worked for 15 years. With 2 young children and a sick wife at home, he needed a flexible rental that would allow him to care for his family during his breaks. At 42, driving wasn't his dream, but it was what put food on the table and paid his wife, Sarah's, mounting medical bills. When Marcus arrived at the arrivals terminal, he found Elena Rodriguez, a woman in her 60s, carrying a small suitcase and tightly clutching a folder of documents. What caught his attention was not only her visible nervousness, but also the tears she was trying to hide behind her sunglasses, even though it was a cloudy day. For the first 15 minutes of the drive, Elena remained silent, staring out the window as the rain ran down the glass. Marcus, always respectful of his passenger's space, kept the radio low and focused on driving. But something in her body language touched him deeply. As a father and husband, he recognized the weight of concern when he saw it. It was when Marcus stopped at a traffic light downtown that Elena finally spoke. Her voice was shaky, thick with emotion. "I'm sorry if I sound strange. I just got the news that my 28-year-old son is in critical condition after a car accident. I'm trying to get to the hospital as quickly as possible." Marcus felt his heart sink. He immediately changed his route to Northwestern Hospital, even though he knew it would mean a longer ride and possibly his last of the day, as his shift was almost over. "Ma'am, we're going straight there. Don't worry about anything else right now," he said, increasing his speed slightly within safe limits. During the 40-minute drive to the hospital, Elena and Marcus shared their stories. She told of her son David, a nurse who had dedicated the last years of his life to caring for cancer patients. Ironically, he was returning from a double shift when the accident occurred. A drunk driver had run a red light. Marcus, in turn, shared about his wife Sarah, diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 2 years earlier, and how the disease had transformed their lives. He spoke about the nights he spent caring for her during flare-ups, how he had left his stable job to have flexible hours, and how driving for Uber, even though it was financially challenging, was his way of maintaining dignity while raising his family. When they arrived at the hospital, Marcus not only stopped at the main entrance, but insisted on helping Elena with her luggage and even walked her to the reception desk to make sure she found her way. He waited until she received the information about her son's room and offered to pick her up later if she needed. Elena, visibly touched by Marcus's genuine kindness, took his hands and said, "In a world where my son was hurt by someone's negligence, you showed me that good people still exist. You don't know me, but you cared for me as if I were your own mother." The next day, Marcus received a notification from the Uber app that left him speechless. Elena had added a $200 tip to the $25 ride. Along with the tip was a message that read, "This money is for your wife. David is recovering well, and I owe part of that to your kindness yesterday. People like you make a difference in the world." Marcus couldn't hold back his tears. That $200 represented more than a week of intense work, but more important than the money was the reminder that small acts of kindness can create ripples of impact far beyond what we can imagine. Marcus and Elena's story teaches us that true wealth lies not in the values we earn, but in the values we demonstrate. In a world increasingly digitally connected but emotionally disconnected, simple gestures of humanity become revolutionary. Marcus could have simply dropped Elena off at the hospital entrance and gone on to his next ride. Elena could have gotten out of the car, paid the fare, and moved on. But they both chose to see beyond the business transaction and recognize each other's humanity. If this story touched your heart as it did mine, please like the video so more people can be inspired by it. Subscribe to the channel for more stories that restore our faith in human kindness, and share in the comments a time you were kind to a stranger or received kindness when you needed it most. Sometimes we just need a reminder that there are still good people in the world, and maybe, be one of those people for someone today.